for the August 20th, 2025 regular meeting of the Milford Inland Wetlands Agency. Lisa, could you please call the roll with note that Commissioner Bahave and Commissioner Munson are excused?
Daniel Bedecker.
Here.
Brian Black.
Here.
Jim Connors. Matthew Connors.
Here.
Nick Ritchie. What was that?
That was Buddy had two things going.
I switched over. Sorry. Apologize.
Julie Valvo.
Here.
Buddy Field.
Here.
Ray Gradwell.
Here.
Brendan Magnan.
Here. And so you got that Nick Ritchie is not here, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. This evening, Commissioner Field and Commissioner Gradwell, could you please serve as voting alternates this evening?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. All right. As we get started, just as a general reminder, consistent with our ways of working and the Freedom of Information Act and Governor Lamont's executive orders, this meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the City of Milford website. During the meeting, as we progress, for the members of the public and the applicants, please be sure to use the raise your hand feature on Zoom. And when recognized by me, please state your name and address prior to making a statement. Apologies, give me 1 second. And please focus your conversations. This is a jurisdiction of the Milford Inland Wetlands Agency. We regulate the wetlands, brooks, rivers, flooding, and wetland habitat. Zoning issues are out of our purview. Mary Rose, could you please share the flag? And if I could invite everybody to unmute themselves and join me by standing, we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance together.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to note Mr. Bave has just joined the meeting.
Okay, thank you. We'll wait for the flag. Don't see it yet.
There it is.
I'm trying to find a volume.
Okay, I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the flag
United
States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one
nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mary Rose, could you please put the agenda up on the slide? Great, thanks. At this time, I would like to mention that the public hearing has been continued to September 3rd, pursuant to our last meeting, and there's no discussion on this matter this evening. Moving on to item D, that's public comments. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on topics not otherwise on the agenda? Is there anyone here from the public wishing to address the agency on topics not otherwise on the agenda? Going once, twice, any? Seeing none, moving on to old business. Mary Rose, could you introduce E1, old business, please?
Thank you. While I'm introducing, I'm gonna share the site plan so you can orient yourself. This is the existing condition site plan for 1 Bayshore Drive. This is E1 IW 250041. It's a proposal to raise and rebuild a single-family home with construction and grading within 100 feet of a wetland and watercourse in the South Central Shoreline watershed. It's proposed by 1 Bayshore LLC. They are proposing to remove the existing structure and build a flood-compliant home that better meets their needs. The site is adjacent to Calf Pen Meadow Brook and has both inland and tidal wetlands on the property. The application is to allow work in approximately 81 square feet of wetlands and approximately 2,268 square feet of upland review area for the demolition of the existing home and construction of a new flood compliant home in the same footprint. For that, approximately 81 square feet of inland wetlands and a portion of the tidal wetlands, which are currently located under the existing rear deck and stairs, will be impacted for the construction of the new deck in essentially the same location. One of the site plans, the erosion control plan, will show a dewatering basin is proposed in that area if necessary. I reviewed the plans late yesterday afternoon with Ms. Raspini, who's representing One Bayshore LLC, and we clarified that the plans that are in the document links from Flanagan Surveying with sheets revised on June 10th was approved by the Connecticut DEP under license number 2024-07385 SDFTW, with minor revisions on May 30th, 25 and 6/20/25 to comply with the zoning requirements. Those revisions were to move the proposed electrical meter to the front porch. That was the 530 revision. And to add the proposed first floor elevation. That was the 620 revision. Those items had been taken off the plan to make the plans clearer for DEP, according to Ms. Raspini, and then they were put back on because the ZBA approval has to show in what we're looking at. There's only one minor discrepancy on the plan between the architectural maps and the Mr. Flanagan's survey, and that's the location of the UI meter. That will not impact the inland wetlands. If it's on the front of the house, that will be a zoning issue and a UI issue. The plans were sent to the city engineer this morning for review, and we should have his report for the next meeting. This project is represented by Jennifer Raspini of One Bayshore LLC, Carl E. Raspini of Raspini Consulting Engineers LLC, Andrew Flanagan, land surveyor from Flanagan Surveying, Wayne Devanzo, a PE of Fairfield County Engineering LLC, and Scott Stevens and Jennifer Benno of Soil Science and Environmental Services. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mary Rose, for the overview. Just as a reminder this evening, we can ask questions, we can request additional information, we can schedule a site walk, we could schedule a public hearing. Mary Rose, is it true that there has been no petition received at this time?
There has been no petition received for this application.
Okay. And we could approve the application with or without conditions and bond, and we could deny the application or take no action. I guess to the applicant team, is it Ms. Raspini? Are you representing yourself?
Yes, I'm representing. Hi, I'm Jennifer Raspini. I'm not good at this. I've never done this before, but I just want to say thanks to everyone to take an interest in wanting to do something like this, because I understand you're all volunteering. But before we go ahead, I really want to explain what happened on August 6th.
Okay, great.
I need to get the record straight. All my documents were submitted to Inland and Wetland. It's the same documents Mary Rose will be presenting to you today. Nothing was left out. I don't know why it was not presented to you, all of you on the board, but I did ask Mrs. Mary Rose prior that she needed to answer a question for me regarding this statute, which is, I think it's CG, if I was exempt, okay? Mary Rose had that email 3 times from July 29th to August 4th, and no one responded to me to explain that to me. So I decided to go to the mayor's office to get help. The mayor said that he would have Justin reach out to Mary Rose and they would follow up. Nobody followed up, okay? Mary Rose took it upon herself to have that meeting, and I did not like the way I was represented because, first of all, you're all volunteers and you taking time out to do something important, and for her to make a statement that I stated that I didn't feel like I needed to be here, that's a blatantly lie because I never had a conversation with Mary Rose. Everything was documented, and I brought it to the mayor's office and everything. That meeting was not supposed to happen because she did not respond to me about what I was asking her. But she stated that she had a problem with the 1974 statute regarding my property. Before I went to purchase that property, when I first purchased the property, I went to the town and I spoke to everyone because I wanted to make sure that I was in compliance and I was able to rebuild that home because the property is very narrow and it has three sides to the water, and it sits in the bridge in the water. So I wanted to know. The director of inland wetland at the time spoke to me, and after they went and looked through everything, and Mary Rose was there, and they stated that they would not have a problem with me rebuilding the property. They did not see anything that could stop me except for Deep. They said I needed to speak to Deep, and I had to get Deep to understand what we were building. Mary Rose gave me John Goucher's number because she was very helpful from day one. And John Goucher came to the meeting in Milford at the town, and we all sat down and they explained what needed to be done. They also stated that when it was time for me to present my documents to the state, they wanted to make sure that everything was in order because they didn't want to have any rejections, because I think I would have to start all over again. Those were Mary Rose's words. So she stated I needed to go to Deep first. I followed through. I did everything I was asked to do, and Deep was taking a little bit longer because we've been doing this now for 7 years. I wrote back to John Goucher and I said, could you please tell me what is going on? And he said, oh, I gave it to the city of Milford so that they needed to review it, which would be Mary Rose, because she seemed to always have something that she needed to say about the property all of a sudden. I don't know why. So she did, and Deep waived the hearing and gave me the license. Okay. So 2 days later, I went to the town. I was really excited because now I have to do is follow through and then take all the stuff to Mary Rose, because this was supposed to be administrative hearing. This is not anything that's supposed to be that I needed to go for all these things. But number one, she quoted 1974, July 1st of 1974. And you can't change the law. Okay. My property at 1 Bayshore Drive was built in 1930. Mary Rose mentioned section 4.1b of the Inland Wetland and Watercourse Regulations clearly exempts residential structures that existed before July 1st, 1974. My property predates by over 40 years. It is grandfathered. An interpretation requiring a pre-1974 building permit. It is a misreading of the statute. The law requires existence before 1974, not a building permit. I'm requesting 2 corrections tonight. First, that the record of the August 6th meeting be corrected to reflect the discussion was improper without jurisdiction. And second, that this commission acknowledge the lawful exemption of my property under section 4.1b. Also, on May 8th of 2025, Attorney Searchy made it a claim, made a statute stated that no one from the commission can rule in it on the documents if the surveyor, the professional surveyor and professional engineer seal is not on the documents. I don't understand how you guys were able to make a ruling on the 1974 issue when you did not have the package. I'm not sure. That was a violation of my my rights as a property owner.
Is there anything else you'd like to offer before we comment?
No, I think that's it. I just want to get those things straight because, oh, I'm sorry. And I need to let you know that I did not, but even if I did, it's no big deal. I owned a property, but this property was condemned. It's a condemned property by FEMA. That was the reason why I have to go through all these things. I cannot do anything. I can't lift the home without it being approved by DEEP because FEMA condemned this property. And so we've been in limbo going back and forth. We have lost a lot of money in we have flood in home, and insurance will not cover anything because we can't the town will not allow us to touch it because DEEP won't allow us until we either raise it or rebuild it. So I think I'm through now. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ms. Rossini. For the purposes of our record, we have a statutory obligation to follow the Connecticut statutes.
Yes.
And Mary Rose has done an apt job of actually recognizing what statutes were before us. And we made a determination, regardless of the actual formal documentation, that any kind of work that you're contemplating does not constitute an exempt. It doesn't fall under the exemption criteria under Article 4. So,
but it does fall under that exemption, is what I'm trying to tell you, that I didn't make that up.
we don't agree with you, respectfully. We don't think that modifications to an existing property is an exempt.
But
There's
that's
not
what
a predetermination.
Mhm.
There's not a predetermination that you can't get a permit for the work that you're intending to do, just to be clear.
Mhm.
But we don't agree with you. We don't find it applicable that this is a permitted right or an exception to that. That is the board's record. That's what we put in the minutes. That's how we testified. We don't need to see, apart from the general understanding of what was being applied, which you submitted an application, so therefore it's a matter of our purview. Mary Rose did not do anything out of bounds. She was following the process and our bylaws.
Well, she was not supposed to present anything to you about my application until we had that statute explained to me.
No, that's actually not the bylaws. That's not how the Milford Inland's bylaws work. You put an application in. Have you not submitted an application?
No, but she asked me to submit it because we're still waiting on it. That was Mary Rose who told me to do it. She sent everything together.
Okay, we can either fight about this.
No,
or
we're
move
not
forward.
fighting about it. I'm just
You
letting you
submitted-
know. I told
Can I
her we're
finish?
not going
Sorry.
forward with anything until we were able to get an understanding. I understand that there's an application, but that was not explained because that's why I sent her an email, because we were not going forward until I get an understanding of the 1974 ruling that she threw in after 7 years. We have spoken almost daily. That never came out because we went through that before. That's what I'm asking you, sir.
Okay, so let's not cut each other off. I'm not cutting you
Sure.
off, so I'd appreciate if you didn't do that to me.
I didn't cut you. I said, go ahead, sir.
No, actually, you did cut me off, but that's okay. So on August 6th, Mary Rose sent you a notice saying that I'm looking at an email that I was copied on that explained to you the Connecticut statutes. And you had already put in an application. So that is the matter of record.
Well, she asked me to put the application in with it. It had nothing to do, did not know that it had, there were two separate things. I just know that they were one thing, and she told me to send it, and she emailed me, and I did forward the funds.
Okay. I mean, what is it that you want to do? Do you want to pursue an application here before the board? Or
Well,
do you
I'm
want to
trying to
withdraw?
pursue what I was
You
talking.
cut me off. You cut me off again.
Oh,
for the
I'm
record.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You have two options this evening. You can withdraw your application, or you can present your application and we can consider the merits of your application. As far as I'm concerned, we're beyond the exemption discussion. That's already been issued. That determination was already made.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to go forward with the application.
Great. Okay. We'll focus our questions on the nature of the changes that you're contemplating, and we'll ask the questions that we normally ask as part of any application. before us. So Mayor Rose, if you could please, could you share the document once again? And maybe Ms. Raspini, you could just talk through, and I'm not sure if you have your engineering.
Yes, I have the
with you.
engineer,
I'm sorry?
the structural engineer. And we also have the civil engineer. So which one would you like to have?
I will pose it to you to answer the technical questions that we may have. It's really your decision as to who you want to be able to answer them. But for the record, could you please have them identify themselves?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm Carl E. Raspini, PE, Raspini Consulting Engineers.
Thank you. And is that the only person with you, or is there
No,
No, there's
I'm
Wayne.
sorry. Wayne Devanzo, Fairfield County Engineering, LLC. Thank you.
Thank you. So who's in the best position to talk to us about the changes as it relates to the wetlands impacts? Who could take us through what the plan is, what mitigations you have in place to preserve and minimize and mitigate impacts to the wetlands?
I think I can give you a little bit of that, at least a brief summary. The proposal is to rebuild the house on the same exact footprint. There's no increase in impervious surface at all, and therefore no increase in runoff. There's no stormwater runoff increase. We are providing erosion controls, silt fencing along the northern and western perimeters, I suppose it would be, and mud tracking pad during construction. We are providing an area, if necessary, for the dewatering of the foundation as construction goes on, with a dirt bag around it and hay bales, generally in the location of where the existing deck is and proposed deck are, and a dumpster in the front during construction. And that is basically the overview. The green areas you see are areas that are not to be touched at all during construction and left alone. So that's a general overview, at least of the site. I can't speak so much for the building itself, but that's basically it for the site work.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Is it Devon?
It's Devanzo. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And just give us an orientation as to the green. I think Mayor Rose moved us to this page for a reason. What's the green marks on the left versus the green marks on the right? Help us understand and get oriented here.
Yeah, they're both, that's just both, they're showing areas that are to be left undisturbed during the entire construction process. So there's no stockpile storing there or any disturbance.
And what are the plans to ensure that that is adhered to during the construction process by the various contractors and consultants?
Well, there'll be silt fences put up right at those locations, and clearly demarcated. So that will be the sort of visual cue for everybody to stay out of it.
And how about extra, and maybe this is a question for Mr. Field or Mr. Connors. Can you kind of weigh in here? What kind of considerations do we need to think about in this particular application? It's a very tight space. What kind of questions do you guys have? You're more in the building expertise field.
Mr. Chair, through the chair.
Yes.
I'm looking at the plans right now in S 2.2, and I'm looking at their designs. I also I drive by that often. And on the plans itself, I mean, they're literally trying to save a block wall that I don't know how old that block wall is, and the water or the tide comes against that. So it's something where, I've never seen this in construction, how they can maintain that, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. It's something I'd like to see. Everything always works on paper, but I'm looking at this and you go over there, you see the edge of the building, you see where it is in regard to the tidal wetlands. and it looks like it's right on it. I mean, it's right there. So I'd like to know how they would keep the wall in place and one, dig down, put the helicals in, and put the concrete wall in. Because when the tide comes in,
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with my.
I'm real interested in that, you know? And
Mr.
and it's
Gonzo,
just,
you want to speak to that, or who can speak to that?
Yeah, Carl can do that.
Well, I can speak, I'm Carl Verspini, yeah. We went through this with DEP quite extensively. So we agreed that we have to maintain that wall. Now, obviously, we don't know the integrity of that wall until we actually get in there. We also have cantilevered the structure a bit so that we stay away from that wall. But DEP has insisted that we keep that wall since day one. And we're trying to make it work. We put an L-shaped footing in, and obviously, until we get in there and see what we have, we may have to change. We have to cantilever the building a little bit more and pull back the footing with the helical cap.
Mr. Chair, through the chair. I did see those plans. I have noticed that. They have to stay away from the wall. Well, their plans literally show it. It's right against her, I'd say an inch or two. But once you dig down, you have to, for the depth you have to go down, at least according to these plans, chances are, and it's all, I didn't see the boring reports on it, but chances are they're putting helix, so the ground is not good at all. So once you start digging down, who's to say that block wall, which they said the house was built in what, the 30s?
Yes.
So it's 90 years old. If it is indeed the original block wall, who's to say that isn't going to collapse in on itself and make a whole nother mess? And they're the ones that are going to have to be dealing with it. So that's my concern. It's just I've never seen anything built this close where you tried to maintain a wall. Doesn't mean it can't be done, but I'm just looking at it, and you drive by there, you see it's like the embankment is the wall. At least that's what it looks like to me.
Okay, Mr. Field, thanks for the question.
I have a question for Buddy, if I may.
Yep, Mr. Connors, go ahead.
Buddy, when they put in the helicoils foundation, do they have to dig behind that wall? Because if they do, it's going to collapse, especially when the tide comes in. Because a block wall has no integrity.
Correct.
Vertically, yes, but horizontally, zero.
Correct. What they'll do is the engineer will come out and he'll stake out where the helicals have to be driven. And the engineer will have already figured out, usually you have to do, vertical helicals, and sometimes you have to do them going horizontally because you have lateral movement in the building, but that's all designed by the engineer. So at the end, this particular engineer designed it this way. He must have went off the compaction calculations, the boring calculations to figure that's what they're going to need. Plus they take the load of the house that's being built there. It's a 3-story house. It's going to have weight on it, plus the concrete. Helicals actually work very well when they're done correctly. And I'm looking at here, I don't have any, other than the kips, what they're going and everything, usually go like double, which it looks like they're doing. It's so close to that wall. It's something that I hate to say it. You're not going to know until you actually get into it. And if it creates a mess, well, let's just hope they're doing it at low tide, and, tides don't wait for anyone. So it's a very tricky situation. It is.
And water pressure is very strong.
And that's also like an inflow. So you're going to have currents coming in and out. How strong they are, I don't know.
I'd be amazed to say that it isn't undermined under that wall from tidal currents and river. You got a river coming through there too.
Yep. And the helix, of course, they'll go down deep enough where the count, and that'll determine, from the weight of the building is designed, the helix are designed to hold the weight of the building, then they go beyond that. And it's all designed, they would have had to do borings in the very beginning, and that would tell the engineers how much pressure they would have to put in the helix, which this has all been designed, so it's all been figured out. on their end.
But how'd they do the borings with the house on it?
Through you, Mr. Chair,
That's a good question.
Yes, Mayor Rose.
perhaps we should ask the questions of the engineer that designed it.
We used the
Mr.
tripod
Spinelli,
method
with
because
us.
that's the only way we had access at the time, as close as we could get to the existing foundations.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear.
Could you
The
restate
tripod
the
method.
response?
Because we couldn't bring a rig in.
Sorry, Mr. Ruspini, can you just elaborate, kind of explain for the lay people in the room, including myself?
Because of the constraints of the site, we couldn't bring a rig in to do the boring, so we used the tripod method. And we got as close to the foundation as we could. We created the boring log and the information that was used to design the helical piles.
Okay, Mr. Gradwell.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I think I have similar concerns that Mr. Connors and Mr. Black have. I don't see how that wall stays up. It's going to be part of a foundation wall. Where's the formwork going to go? And then you have to excavate the bottom of footing or top of helical. What kind of shoring system you got that's going to support the soil outside of that wall and that footing? And to Buddy and Mr. Connors's point, you're in a tide, you're in an ebb tide, ebb flow. This is a pretty tricky and complicated ordeal that they're proposing here. That I don't think they've really explained that well and how it's going to actually be built. And
what happens if, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
What happens if that wall collapses during the construction of the house?
yeah,
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Ms. Mayor Rose.
What you're looking at now is what Mr. Ruspini's plans S 2.2 that Mr. Field or Commissioner Field is referring to. I'm going to scroll you up to the site plans from Mr. Flanagan. If I can not make you blind, there we go. Down one or two. I think it's this one. Okay, we're looking at sheet 3 of 4 of the Flanagan plans. It shows the proposed house roughly in the same position as the existing house, similar to the plan Mr. DeVenzo showed us earlier. The coastal jurisdiction line is outlined on the plan. You can see it very brief. I can make this a little bit bigger for you. You can see it along here. Coastal jurisdiction in this area, I believe, is 4.7. So this work along this revetment, stone revetment, and along the side of the house is all tidal wetlands and has been permitted by Connecticut DEP. As you come back here, the tidal wetland line is a little harder to see. It's in here somewhere. And then the inland wetland line is here. And I can show that to you on I believe, the wetland report. So the construction of this wall needs to be watched, obviously, by the applicant. Mr. Ruspini is an engineer, he's designed it. But we don't have jurisdiction of this wall. We have a concern that work that happens here, it negatively impacts the wetland here. But our jurisdiction is not the tidal water course, it's the inland wetland. So
thank you for clarifying that. That's
okay,
great.
so we have questions on demolition. How are we taking this out without impacting the wetlands? How the dewatering is not going to impact, how the deck's not going to impact.
Great. Amiros, on that note, in relation to the wetlands, can you maybe show, are there any wetlands that are going to be eliminated at all by the proposed plan? And if so, why? Why would they be eliminated?
Okay, so I'm going to go up to the existing condition plan. It's a little less busy. So hang on for a second. There you go. So here's the Connecticut wetland line right here. And it marries
as marked by the
CTWL. I think it's 1 through 4. So here's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And right here, it marries to the tidal wetland lines, which continue from along the side of the building. Back here to here. This is the existing deck. The existing deck is over the wetlands as they stand. I think if you look at, we can scroll down to the architecturals, shows that the deck is off the ground a bit. So it's not shaded. The impacts would be the piers for the deck. I don't know. This one obviously would be a header board to the house. I believe would be a header board to the house. These two piers are in the tidal wetlands. This pier looks like it's out of the wetlands. All of this area in this direction, the existing house, is our upland review area. While we would normally review this area, it's tidal wetlands. So DEP has reviewed this area to the back. The erosion controls that Mr. DeVenzo talked about go around here to give them a little bit of room to get things down and out. So there will be work. The applicant can clarify that for us, but there will be work to take this down. And then if I can find that sheet again. That's not it. Sorry, hate to scroll, it makes you dizzy. There we go. So this is where the silt fence is proposed. This is why he highlighted this green. This is the Fairfield engineering plan. So disturbance will be from this line forward and from this area here, whatever direction that is, up. So this disturbance will be the whole site here that's in white. The green will theoretically not be disturbed. If the wall comes down, that's a different concern for the building department. It's a concern for the tidal DEP. If material lands in the wetland, it becomes our concern. It's hard when there's such layered jurisdictions.
How do you?
Excuse me, sorry, Mr. Connors.
I'm sorry. Okay.
So I just want to amplify what Mary Rose just clarified. It's really important as we're asking questions to consider our jurisdiction. So Mary Rose, thank you for doing such an apt job with explaining that DEP's got coverage on the wall and those initial concerns that were voiced. I'm going to give the floor to Mr. Connors, Mr. Matthew Connors first, and then to Mr. Jim Connors. Go ahead, Matt.
Through you, Mr. Chair. This question is from Mary Rose. So as far as the wall goes, the wall itself is the DEP's jurisdiction, or is that our jurisdiction?
The wall
Because
itself
it seems like it's in the upland review area, no? Or
it's where that layered jurisdiction comes up. The wall, yes, is in
so
the
then
upland review area.
just to that point, is it possible to get DEP in on these meetings? Because it seems like it would be beneficial to us just to know in terms of what if that wall fails, is that the town's responsibility or is that DEP's responsibility?
It's the applicant's responsibility.
Okay.
Neither.
Who would respond? I mean, like, is it DEP that responds to the actual hazard of that?
It's likely that the call would come in depending upon the level of the failure to the building department, which would bring zoning and wetlands out and notify DEP. We all converge on the site to look at our various jurisdictions. Obviously make safe. Fire department is the first thing. We want to make sure personnel are safe and that no one's at risk. Equipment's at risk of falling in the creek.
To this point, I just like to make sure that there is a plan in place and we do a hypothetical walkthrough. If that wall fails, what happens?
Okay, that I know is the city's response. I can't speak for what the applicant's response is.
Yeah, and I would just like to comment on, I like the question, Mr. Connors. I would not presuppose that DEP need to be part of a meeting, but I would suggest, Mary Rose, that you get alignment with DEP in a hypothetical scenario like this. Who would have, what's their perspective on jurisdiction? What's our perspective? And make sure that we're all comfortable with that. And I don't think that means being in the same meeting. I think Mary Rose can effectuate that same clarification through her contacts at DEP.
And just through you, just so I understand, because the reason I would suggest that is like, so I give a lot of credit to Buddy just now because he taught me a lot about that whole structure with the wall. And, it's great that he has the background in engineering because I wouldn't know something like that. But it seems like those would be good questions to understand. And I guess this you guys can clarify this to me. But asking DEP how they would come to the conclusion that the wall is where it should be. Because I mean, the wall is in our jurisdiction, correct? Or it isn't? That's just why I wanted that clarification.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, upland of the wall, anything above, we have what's called in Connecticut, we have what's called coastal jurisdiction line. And the reason for that is so that there's consistent regulation along the coast. There's a list DEP has out what the coastal jurisdiction line is in each town. Milford Special, we have 3 here, and in most of the town, it's 4.7. Behind the Tide Gate, it's 2.9. Along the Housatonic, it's 5.1. Everything below those numbers, in this case 4.7, is the state jurisdiction. It's not ours. Anything above that is ours. So everything above the wall is our jurisdiction. So we're right at the line, right? We're right on the precipice of whose side it falls on. On the map, DEP has had the applicant show we've got a 4.7 over here elevation, spot elevation. It marries to this 4.7 over here. There is a crawl space under the existing house. It's assumed. I don't know that they've done any measurements. The surveyor could speak to that. But they've drawn this line that this is where they assume the coastal jurisdiction line is. The applicant needs to leave this wall in place because if it goes down, then they'd be doing more work in the coastal jurisdiction area, is how I understand it. The applicant may know better. They spoke to DEEP. I do not.
So 2 final questions, and then I'm comfortable. So do we agree as a commission then that wall is not our jurisdiction? And then I would ask, the 80 feet that we discussed of disturbance, where can you just walk us through where that 80 feet of wetland disturbance is for the construction? Because I had heard that at some point. Is that not the case?
No, that is the case. Through you, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. The wetlands are here, right? The Connecticut wetlands. Sorry, I can't stop this yellow box from popping up. The Connecticut wetlands are here.
I understand.
So the disturbance limit line is the silt fence. So that's the disturbance limits line is here. Mr. Raspini can speak to how they're going to dismantle the home. But one can imagine they're going to pull forward and they need to get in here to get these pieces out, and they need room around a house. You know, we've had this question with Commissioner Field and other contractors in the past. How much room do you need around a house to build it? Obviously, you know, we're not having the siders bring their trucks to the backyard to set up to do it. It's going to be a very fine, organized, precise. That's the word. It's going to have to be a precise operation because they have a tight site. And I'm sure that the applicant and their consultants have looked at that.
Mr. Gradwell, could you just hold on your question before I give you the floor? Mr. Raspini from the engineering side of things, can you comment on your understanding of the consideration with regard to DEP's? You know, are they completely comfortable with the engineering considerations that we've been discussing here relative to the upland review area and the wall?
Yes, as far as I know, because we've had numerous discussions on this topic.
Can you elaborate? I mean, when you say you've had numerous discussions, can you just indulge us?
Yeah, they would not allow us to go north of that existing wall at all. So we came to the conclusion, well, we'll leave the wall there. We'll leave the existing wall there and work behind it. Now it's challenging to do that. And we're going to have to when we start the construction, then we're gonna have to see if we have to temporarily shore that wall to get the work done, especially along that like 50 footish on that north side.
And so you, as part of your sequencing of construction, do you expect to have DEP inspections during the process? Or what kind of involvement do you expect them to have?
Well, it depends on them, what they want to inspect. But we can contact them. The demolition is gonna start from the road and work its way in. And a lot of it's gonna have to be done by small machine or hand, obviously, and there's no stockpiling on the site. So we have to remove all the debris as we move from front to back. When we get to the deck, that's probably gonna be done by hand. That's what I would envision it. It's done by hand. You take each piece down with two guys and you move it forward out.
Okay, great. That was my
It
next.
is, because it is sensitive. This whole site is sensitive. So it is important that we manage it properly.
Right. And what is your plan? Is that something you're going to have daily supervision of yourself or somebody that you designate to be?
Well, no, I can, but I also, as we choose a contractor, we have to make sure we're comfortable with him and he knows that this is a very sensitive site and gives us some of his means and methods that we agree with and that will work for the site.
Understood. Okay. That's helpful. Thank you very much. Mr. Gradwell?
Yeah, going back to that wall is running basically north-south, right, along the Calf Penn Meadow Creek, but then it turns the corner and runs along our wetland flags, our Connecticut wetland flags, like 3 and 4 in that corner, Mary Rose, if you don't mind zooming in on that corner, that northeast corner. Of the existing build. Yeah, I just keep zooming there where you got CTWL4 and you got CTWL. So they're right up against, there's no room for error there. There's no offset between the wall and our wetlands and our regulated area. The deck's over the top of it. With little concerns of it. Is the deck elevated as to the finished floor, or I got a lot of questions around this, the construction techniques, construction measures, and zero offsets to a wetland and resource that's right on the brook. That I'm sure does drain fresh waters.
Mr. Raspini, can you answer those questions? Is there a plan that you have articulated that we may need to review? Is it written?
No, I have not articulated a plan from going from the house, existing footprint of the house to the deck or to the inland wetlands. No, I have not. But we know it's very sensitive. So we're gonna have to come up with a method and means to control everything.
Okay. I think that's probably what will come out of the engineering review, I'm guessing. Based on typical applications, this is obviously sensitive and complicated, but go ahead, Mr. Bahave.
Sorry, my video was off. Like, I'm not sure if you can see me.
Yes, we can see you now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair, I think there is a lot of talk about, this is contractors' means and methods, but I think as a part of application, the applicant should include specifications about how the contractor or what restrictions are going to be there on the contractor so that they don't violate any of the permit conditions. Instead of, I guess, assuming that, well, it's a contractor's means and methods or whatever. I think we need to put that in writing as part of application.
Thank you, Mr. Bahave. Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Another thing too is possibly in a very extensive construction sequence to exactly what they're going to do, because I'm hearing the answers we're getting. They just kind of say, well, we'll figure it out when we get there. And I'm like, well, we would, me as a board member, I think the board would like to know exactly the process. And if you have to be that mundane or anal about the descriptions of it, so be it. But because of the proximity where it is, I kind of like to know what they're doing. It's a construction sequence, very depth and detailed.
Yeah, Mr. Raspini, that's overwhelming. The feedback that I guess I would impart on you is that we would need to have, a concrete written plan with regard to the sequencing as it relates to the wetlands. So if you can take that as an action, that would be great. I'm only expecting from experience in reviewing other similar applications that will become part of the feedback that city engineer provides. So it's up to you on how fast you want to move, but we're going to need to have that before we can get comfortable with considering approval on this.
I have one practical question, Brandon.
Yes, Mr. Connors.
How do you even work on the side of the house that's right on this wall that's on the river without working in the wetlands? Or the tidal wetlands, even the river? I mean, you're working with zero tolerance here to actually construct this structure. It's very, very difficult. I don't know how, physically impossible to my eyes that you could even build this house, especially 3 stories high.
Well, the stories has nothing to do with the foundation. It's getting the foundation which is the critical point. Once the foundation is, it's very simple. But you're right, it's a very challenging site. And we didn't want to go driving sheet piles because that really is not a big disturbance, expensive, and could cause some, nuisance in the neighborhood.
Okay. Are there any other questions? And let me ask a question for the agency. Is there any reason we would need to schedule a site walk for this?
I think we should.
I think it'd be a good idea.
Okay.
I think just because of how complicated this site is, and it's, again, its location in regards to the wetland.
Okay. So I'd entertain a motion to that effect.
I can make the motion to have a site walk.
Okay. Do we have a second on the motion? It was made by Mr.
I'll
Jim.
second.
Second.
And Matthew Connors seconded. We would just need to coordinate a date. Hey, Rose.
Looking at calendar, sorry. Our next meeting is September 3rd. It will be a hearing for, it is the continuation of the public hearing for our Buick Ave application, and that may take up most of our evening. Next weekend is the Labor Day holiday. So I would suggest either we try to fit it in next week if people have availability, but because I don't believe we will get to this application on the 3rd, we have a little more time. And I'm speaking only from experience of our hearing in July.
I would recommend we consider September 10th.
Lisa, does that work for you?
I'm assuming it's in the afternoon.
10th works for me.
I would suggest, I don't know, what do you guys want?
I have no issue
I'm
with
good with
that.
that.
That's fine.
What time does everybody want to convene there?
I don't know, after work, like 5 or,
Yeah. After 5 o'clock at least, please.
okay.
5:30.
Does 5:30 work for the applicant team on the 10th September?
Sorry.
Yes.
Mr. Raspini?
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
Raspini? Could you make September 10th at 5:30 work?
Yes,
Sorry?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Okay, so that is the motion to have a site walk on September 10th at 5:30 p.m. at the site. Do we have any further amendments to that motion?
Through you, Mr. Chair, just a question, general, just for Mrs. Raspini.
Yes,
If we could just make sure that there's an engineer on site just to walk us through it.
sure.
I think that would be helpful.
Okay, so do you, only the engineer you need, or do you need everyone?
I guess whichever one would be relevant to
Structural engineer.
structural engineer. Then
Okay, sure, yes. That's my husband, so yes.
Mr. Chairman, through you, would the agency like to have the soil scientist on property?
If that's possible, yes.
That's John
Agency may look at we'll look at carpooling or look at parking options for us for this. It is a am I sharing? It's a tight site, so we're not going to be able to park here. We may be able, I don't remember if there's parking on Orland Street or not, but I will get that information to you before the 10th.
Thank you, Mary Rose.
Mr. Chairman, you have a motion on the floor.
Yep, I know. I just wanted to go back to the question about the soil scientist. My thought is we don't need the person there to the extent that the property is marked. I mean, we don't need somebody because we're not there talking to them about this application. We're there, and for the record, Miss Ruspini and Mr. Ruspini, we're there purely to get eyes on the property. We're not going to be discussing, just to be really clear, we're not going to be discussing the merits of the application. It's really just to get oriented as to the location and the conditions of the site.
Sure.
Okay. So we have a motion. The motion as amended includes the date and the request for the engineer. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Lisa, roll call vote.
Daniel Bedecker,
I was absent August 6th, so I abstain.
this is just for if there's a sidewalk.
Sorry, Mr. Bedecker, we're just to clarify, we're scheduling a sidewalk.
Okay.
Are you abstaining on that, or are you voting on that? Sorry, just to be clear, are you voting in favor or are you abstaining on that?
Well, I'd like clarification since I'm abstaining on this, since I missed the original. Should I vote on the sidewalk?
Oh yeah, you're at liberty to vote on the sidewalk. You just missed the initial presentation. That's fine. You can participate in the process. No problem.
Okay, I'll be there. Aye.
Okay.
Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Brian Black,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Julie Valvo,
Aye.
Buddy Field,
Aye.
Ray Gradwell,
Aye.
Brendan Magnan.
Aye. The motion carries. Okay, so Ms. Ruspini, Mr. Ruspini, thanks for your time this evening. Thanks for the information you've shared. We've confirmed that we will have a site walk on September 10th.
Right.
And there will be, as noted earlier, a response from the city engineer. To the extent that that engineer has feedback, that will be conveyed to you through Mary Rose's office. That feedback will be shared with the agency as a matter of standard process. And as I said before, I expect questions along the lines of what we were asking related to the wetlands. And we thank you again for your time this evening. Any questions? No. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Rose, what's next on the agenda?
Minutes from the previous meeting.
Consideration of the minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes from August 6th, 2025 as presented?
I'll make the motion, Brandon.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Connors. Any other? Second.
A second.
Ms. Valvo, seconds. Thank you. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Lisa, roll call vote.
Daniel Bedecker,
Abstain.
Ranjit Bahav,
Aye.
Brian Black,
Abstain.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Julie Valvo,
Aye.
Buddy Field,
Aye.
Ray Gradwell,
Aye.
Brenda Magnan.
Aye, motion carries. Thanks, Mary Rose, for the minutes and Lisa's absence as well. Appreciate that. Okay, Mary Rose, staff report, please.
The updates are in my notes. No real changes. We expect some reports on sites that have mitigation monitoring to come in end of September, beginning of October. I anticipate having information to you late next Wednesday on the 27th or early on the morning of the 28th for our public hearing. I realize that's a lot of information coming at you quickly. You have time. We have until the end of October to make a ruling on that application. But if, as you review the information, or even now, if you have any questions, if you could email or call me individually, let me know what they are. I will get them out to the applicant's engineer. I will get them out to our third-party reviewer so that they can have those answers ready for you, either in the reports on the 27th or at the meeting on the 3rd. And we just got notice that the annual Connecticut Association of Conservation and Inland Wetlands Commissions, CACUIC, will have their annual meeting on Saturday, November 15th. It's usually between 8:30 and 4. They did not say what the venue is. It's last year, I think the last 2 years it was in Bristol or New Britain. The city pays for you to go to that. There's a wealth of information and training. I know a lot of you have gone in the past, but I wanted to give you the date of November 15th to have that in your mind if you have room to go. As I get information, I will forward it to you. It's my regular reminder, you can't discuss an application with members of the public or the applicant outside of the meeting room. If someone approaches you, just direct them to the office and Taft and I will get their information in the record so that every commissioner can see it. And does anyone have any questions for me?
Oh. Through you, Mr. Chair. Through you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Mary Rose, will we have our staff or our consultants report prior to that meeting?
Right. We should have the consultants report next Wednesday. That'll be the 27th.
Okay.
That was the deadline we gave them when we chose who to hire. You know, we're dealing with the applicant and our consultants and vacations, but everything should be in on the 27th. And I realize that's right before the holiday weekend, and I apologize. It's just where the meeting landed.
Okay. Thank you.
Mary Rose, do you want to just mention the name of the consultant that was hired?
Sure. We have hired Land Tech Consultants. Tom Ryder will be our biologist, and Rob Pryor is our engineer.
Thank you.
I've also been
We've used
notified.
Land Tech before.
We have used Land Tech before.
Yes.
I've also been notified by the PAR 4, which is the apartment building and the open space along Cherry Street, that they will be hiring their own consultants. And their consultants, I've been told, are Steve Trinkus and Bill Kenny. So all those reports should converge on you on the 27th and on Mr. Wee, who will then try to respond to all of that by the 3rd. I have told Land Tech that they are free to speak with Codaspodi and Associates and the consultants on the project to try to answer any questions so they can fully understand the design of the system and any potential impact to wetlands so they can give us a full report.
And I believe wouldn't Land Tech also assist with helping us wrestle with varying expertise from other parties as well?
That's why we hired him.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The city engineer will also review all of that. We're asking a lot of people to move a lot of paper in a very short period of time. So we may have presentations on the 3rd and questions may come after that. But again, you have until the end of October on that application.
Thank you. Thanks again, Mary Rose, for all the back office work you're doing with securing that engagement with the consultant. No other questions for Mary Rose. Thank you. Chair's report. Thanks again for everybody's participation this evening. and our next meeting will be on September 3rd. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
You got it.
There's a second on the motion.
Second it.
Second. Okay. Yeah. Roll call vote.
Sorry, couldn't get that unmute. Daniel Bedecker,
Aye.
Renji Bahav,
Aye.
Brian Black,
Aye.
Jim Connors,
Aye.
Matthew Connors,
Aye.
Julie Valvo,
Aye.
Buddy Field,
Aye.
Ray Gradwell,
Aye.
Brenda Magnan.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Have a good night.
Thank-
Good night.
Thank you,
Aye.
everyone.
Okay.
Blessings.